This episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by Apparition Scents, an outdoor and sporting goods company based in Dilliner, Pennsylvania. All of their scents developed and hand bottled with strict attention being paid to every detail. Contact them today at 724-998-7646 or check them out at apparitionscents.com. 100% lethal or your money back guaranteed. Get a hold of them today at 724-998-7646 or check them out at apparitionscents.com. All right, guys, welcome to another episode of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls. Tonight, we have a very special guest, Sean Lundy, fan favorite from Drury Outdoors. He was with Drury Outdoors for about 6-7 years, and I got co-host Dan Hall here with me this evening. Sean, how you doing this evening, buddy?
I'm doing good. It's been a while. We've been trying to make this happen, so I'm pretty pumped about it.
Yeah, definitely. Same here. Dan, how you doing, brother?
Doing good, man. I've been looking forward to getting in on this one. We've been trying to connect for a bit now.
Yeah, definitely. Alex DeBoard there with Talk About It Outdoors kind of got us hooked up. We're a dealer for a couple different companies, and he's wanting a new bow case there, and I said I'll hook you up if you can hook me up with an interview with Sean Lundy. So he made it happen there. And Sean, we just want to thank you for your service in the Marine Corps. We do a salute to valor on every episode, and we want to salute you this evening at the beginning of the podcast first and foremost. So thank you for your service, sir.
I appreciate that, guys. I really do.
All right, now let's get into the good stuff. So we mentioned there a little bit you was with Drury Outdoors, and you was the fan favorite there with them for about 6-7 years. So that's kind of where you got your start, and now you kind of moved on, kind of back to the family kind of thing, and just wanting to spend more time with the family and kind of do your own thing. So Lundy Life and RUGG'D Apparel, tell us a little bit about those.
Yeah, it was kind of, to get back a little bit to Drury, is like when I started with them, and it was a dream, and to this day, I still feel like I'm one of their biggest fans as far as always looking up to them and the guys. But, it was a good run. I still stay in close contact with all them. And it was just, here recently at the end of the last year season, not this previous one we just had, I just had to make a decision on, when you're with there, you're literally competing with the best of the best. And it's not that I didn't feel like I was up to par. I knew I was producing hunts and I was, representing the companies in a positive way for them. But while doing that, a little bit, I felt like it was just hard for me to compete with so many of these powerhouses and like legends in the industry that are known for knocking down big deer. And we're known for just knocking down deer. You can get rid of the big part. We're out there, we're knocking deer down. So I just wanted to take a step back, continue doing what I was doing. But since the kids are getting older, my oldest daughter's in college, youngest one's getting into barrel racing a little more, and my two middle daughters, they're big into sports. So as far as me doing a lot of the hunting is done with my son. So he's getting older now, and I wanted to do more with him, but I get
definitely
away from representing, the everyday guy and, a lot of these great companies that are out there. So we broke away. We're still, kind of like out there grinding it on, we're trying to represent myself as far as everyone else back home, and what an everyday guy can do. And a friend of mine up in Michigan, Lance, has its apparel company he's been wanting to do, RUGG'D. So we partnered up with him, me and my wife did, to have, RUGG'D Apparel Company, which is kind of, it's not only, fitness and staying in shape. And with my, my job, I'm currently law enforcement now, but being in with the military, I've always, trying to, I don't mind tipping a few back and eating my Little Debbie snacks, but, I try to stay in shape, and, and stuff like that. So between staying in shape, RUGG'D is more of a apparel company of just a lifestyle, whether you're out there on the back 40, splitting wood, fishing, barbecuing, having a few beers, whatever the case is. But we kind of threw a little spin to that, and RUGG'D has its own Lundy Life edition now, which is, just kind of promoting the hunting and just the everyday God-fearing American that just, has the love for the outdoors, this country still, and everything that comes with it. So.
Yeah, and that fits perfectly in
Awesome.
with, what you're doing. I mean, you're getting back to the family and the Lundy lifestyle, you know what I mean? I mean, it's not that it wasn't a lifestyle with you before when you was with Drury, but there's a different kind of lifestyle there, I mean, you're on a high profile show like that, and it can be stressful at times, You kind of probably want to just get back to regular life and hunt and fish and spend time with family.
Yeah, and that's the one reason why I felt so blessed when I did partner up and get on with juries and stuff in the beginning, is because there's a lot of great shows out there, and there's a lot of, they are everyday guys, but they're very known in the industry that are hunting. They're out there, they're promoting the sport, and everything comes with it. But juries was big. I got to give it to them. They were very big, and they still are, on promoting family and taking people hunting and introducing people. But, in the mind frame and financially where me and my wife were at the time, for me to continue, we're all competitive by nature anyway. So for me to continue and try to stay, up with the big dogs, I guess, it was starting to take a little bit of time away from home, a little more time. I was already spending time away from home trying to compete, especially with that Critical Mass show and stuff. But
yeah,
I figured I'm going to step back. I'm going to still show juries all the love. I mean, they know, what's going on with the industry. They're on top of everything. That DeerCast app, I don't think there's an hour that I'm not on it, so I'm still a big fan of theirs. And I love and respect them, and especially, Mark and Terry themselves, when I explained to them what would happen, it was that I just wanted to take a break, and they were completely supportive of that. So, but, I don't want to take a break from my lifestyle. I just want to do more of my lifestyle, so I'm just coming back, and I'm out there just living every day to continue to promote it for myself, you guys out there, everybody, and my children. I mean, it's the outdoors itself. I hate to say this, it's still here. We got to keep promoting it, because if we don't, it's going to go away. I mean, this country's under it.
Yeah,
I don't have to say that. So
yeah, no, definitely.
So, man, that's awesome. How blessed you were to be a part of them, have that experience, But you're getting now to make your own experience. You're getting ready to. You could blow up at any time, just like that, with your family. And rolling back to that Little Debbie thing, you got to have your tree stand snacks, though.
We wear them out, like literally wear them out. Like I'm surprised that she's like, you're gonna get diabetes as much stuff as you eat when you're in the tree, and it's unbelievable.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I mean, I took my daughter, she's finally getting old enough, so I got to take her in the blind, and I literally had a whole backpack full of snacks, and it was gone within the 3 hours we was hunting. I'm like, are you kidding me? So, and rolling back on that, your son, he's coming out with that Little Debbie hunts as well. So that's pretty interesting. I want you to hit on that a little bit.
But I know, that Little Debbie, it was a few years back. Like, as parents, we worry about our kids, and
yeah,
what they're doing and who they're talking to. And social media, sometimes it's like, it never fails. You guys wake up in the morning and you got, 20 new followers on there, and 19 of them are, these fake accounts.
Yep.
And they're fake accounts. They're these either millions of dollars, or some, older woman, for coming from my son's perspective, that's, dressing a little the way they shouldn't. And it's like, I try to explain to my son, that's some guy in his parents' basement eating cheese doodles. It's not who you think it is. So,
yeah.
But he wanted to promote the hunting and everything we did. And a good friend of mine, Brad Stricker, whenever we go somewhere, like, my son would unpack his bag, and my wife would always pack him some Little Debbie snacks. He loved the oatmeal cream pies and stuff. So he just kept calling him whenever we'd show up in camp. He's like, hey, man, Little Debbie rolling.
Yeah.
So he was just, and now it's to the point, we eat all kinds of snacks. It's not like we don't, stay prejudiced to just one snack. If it's a snack and it's junky and people think for the most part it's not good for you, we're devouring it. But Little Debbie's itself, our backpacks, I just did a post a little while back. I mean, I find snacks in my backpack from like a year or two
Yeah,
ago.
I do.
And it's true. Like,
Oh yeah, I found a
forever, as long as you don't break the
deer jerky from last year.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, exactly.
Yep.
I open that and I'm like, yeah, wonder how bad that's gonna smell. You know, and instinct, you open the bag, you're like, oh man, that's definitely been in there since last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, so talking about your son there, he killed him a pretty nice little 8-point. How'd that hunt go?
Yeah. It went pretty good. I mean, that place we hunt, I guess it's one of the things that we do a lot of. We hunt small properties. We don't, able to get on, to us, 80, 90, 100 acre property is a huge property. I mean, we're, leasing 10 acres here, 30 acres here, helping the farmer out to get permission to hunt on the field. And where he killed that deer, I killed mine just a few days later. And the same situation happened in Indiana last year, which was on critical mass. We both killed deer. We both filmed each other literally just days apart. And the hunts last year were almost identical. It's just a travel corridor. And besides two different looking deer, the deer did the same thing. They came out, they worked the same exact scrape. They were probably standing in the same area when both of us shot them. So it's kind of a little, maybe not necessarily a honey hole for killing giants, what people say, but it's such a target little rich environment for, I take a lot of new hunters there too. After we got everything done, it's the season's not necessarily over, but you and your family and everyone that hunts with you is, let's say, tagged out. Like I just start going around asking, people, hey, listen, have you ever went hunting? Would you like to get involved in it? Would you like to do, and just take them out, because it's one of those things where they get to see a few deer.
Yeah.
And, with the great opportunity of harvesting something, maybe not necessarily big buck, but
Yeah. That's awesome.
Sure. So hitting back a little bit old school here. I know you grew up in New York, hunting out there. Do you still get the opportunities to hit the Catskills and the Adirondacks and
No, I don't.
hunt out there much still?
I don't go back out to hunt the Catskills and the Adirondacks as much. We still go out there every year. We're going to go out there again during the holidays just to get out. We may do a little hunting on the island and stuff because my dad's kind of getting up there in age and he's not hunting as much anymore, which is health issues. But we still go out there, and it's always been something I told my wife that I kind of want to take my kids and my son and my daughters, maybe one day out to hunt the Catskills. And I honestly think they really would appreciate how blessed they are to live in the Midwest. Because,
Oh yeah, I've hunted them. I know exactly where you're getting at.
they're practicing quality deer management out there and everything else, and the herd's getting better, and the quality of deer are actually getting really good. But it's still not like hunting out in the Midwest. I mean, they're killing what some people and all of us may consider giants, but if you go out there and you just harvest a deer, and I've said this on other podcasts before too, a lot of these guys from New York, Pennsylvania, some people knock them. Well, they hear New York and they're like, well, these city slickers, they can't hunt. I'll tell you what, you take some of them boys from the East Coast on how hard they hunt, or even like the guys down south and how hard they hunt, and you bring them to the Midwest, they will clean this place out. If they can kill a deer out there in New York, they have no problem getting on a deer in the Midwest. It's.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, that's when I was stationed at Drum, we got to hunt through the military, we get to hunt on the ranges and all that. So, man, it was completely different aspect of hunting up there than it was back home in West Virginia. We got the mountains and all that too, but it just seemed, I don't know if it was just there was less or what it was, but it was a little bit difficult. I ended up killing quite a few out there, but it was still difficult.
Yeah, you definitely. I think it would help my son. He's a pretty humble kid anyway, but just to kind of make sure he doesn't take anything for granted.
Yeah. Well, that's one of the things that you learn through hunting is you're not always going to get what you want. I mean, that's why they call it hunting. I love it.
Absolutely.
So I got a honest question here. We may have talked about this before we got cut there on the internet, but I don't know if we've lost it or not. So, how many boxes of Little Debbie's y'all went through since the beginning of the year?
I'm not even joking when I say this, and I would say I'm not proud, but I am. We're known. I mean, we're known for eating snacks, just like the Lindsays are known for putting down snacks. You know, it's not even boxes. There's no doubt in my mind.
Yeah.
My season's in September in Kentucky. Me and my son have put down, there's no doubt, several cases of Little Debbie snacks. And my daughters, they may not be into the deer hunting itself as much, but like when I come back from a hunt, you know, if I'm going hunting or I'm coming home, yeah, I'm stopping just to go to the bathroom. It's just driving through. So on the seat next to me, or if my son's riding with me in the seat in the back, it's just open boxes of Little Debbie snacks and orders. So when I get home, we fill the cabinets with oatmeal cream pies, nutty bars, crispy. I mean, and they just go through them. So we eat our share of them.
That's awesome. I was going to ask you what's your go-to normally, if you got like your favorites or Nutty Buddy or what you got.
You know, Cole's a big oatmeal cream pie guy, but he'll eat anything out there. And, you know, I like the oatmeal cream pies, but I don't know. Like, I like the Nutty Buddy bars. I really do. I mean, it's just kind of, I honestly think because they fill you up a little more. You can throw.
Yeah, it's got that peanut butter in there.
I could throw 3 or 4 of them in my pack, and sunlight's coming up 6:37. It takes me about 10 o'clock to be done with them. Oatmeal cream pies, man, we'll eat a box before 8:30. Like
you know, one of my go-to Little Debbie's is the old Star Crunch.
Oh yeah, we'll wear them out.
Yeah.
I can kill some of them.
I tell you what, I've been eating lately. I actually ate them more last year, and now I'm kind of putting them away. They got them strawberry rolls.
That's exactly what I was just going to bring up. I seen your post the other day.
You are missing out if you're not trying them.
The strawberry shortcake, like Twinkie things.
Yeah, they're like almost like a Twinkie thing, but they're rolled almost like a pumpkin roll.
Yeah.
You know,
I'll give you a little twist on them. Stick them in the freezer.
Oh boy, they're really good, huh? Yeah, I honestly started eating them more this year, and it was in Wisconsin. If you know, try them. I could imagine. I want to go frozen with them next time, but I started drinking them or eating them with a thermos of coffee. Like, they're good. I mean, the problem is like when you undo the wrappers, sometimes stuff sticks to the wrappers. Then if you get those wrappers opened in your bag,
you got to lick it,
and you don't find them until turkey season.
Yeah. The only problem with your frozen one, Michael, it's hard to, unless it's nice and cold day.
Oh, yeah.
They'll thaw out before you get to eat them all.
That's when you got to eat them when it's like, you know, you're out there during gun season and it's 15, 20 degrees.
You know, so another thing we like to do here on our podcast is our salute to valor. You know, we kind of give you a little bit of a salute at the start of this one, which we'd like to get some more information on you, maybe get you down the line there and get you on an actual episode where we can actually salute you. But tonight we'd like to salute Donald Mark Muma. He was born and raised in Lovejoy, Pennsylvania. He was in the United States Air Force as a senior airman. He served active for 3 years, 4 months, and inactive for 2 years and 8 months. He had one tour. He was stationed at Plattsburgh Air Force Base in Plattsburgh, New York. He was awarded the Good Conduct Medal, 2 Outstanding Unit Medals. He was honorably discharged early from active duty due to Graham-Rootman strength reduction bill. He remained on inactive reserve for the remainder of his initial enlistment of 4 years, and he was active, or 4 years active, and he was inactive for 2 years in the reserve. So we'd like to thank you tonight, Mark, and appreciate your service to our great country.
Absolutely. Thank you.
Yep. Thank you, Mark. We sure appreciate your service. Sean, have you heard anything about, do you know anything about that Strength Reduction Act that he was talking about? I didn't get to research any of it before we started tonight.
No, that's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, so what happened was, it was, just in the short layman's terms of it, they cut down on the amount of military members. I would say I don't know what years he was in, but I know it happened years ago, several years ago. Well, more than several. It's been a little while, but they cut down on the amount of troops that we had.
In my opinion, I don't know why you would ever want to do that.
I agree with you on that.
Yep.
All right, well, let's go into your season there, Sean. You've had a pretty amazing season. You were talking there earlier about your buck in Indiana. You just recently came back from Illinois, and you tagged a nice one there too as well, 10-point, right?
Yeah, I got really. It's lucky. I'd rather be lucky any day, but I went I wanted to change it up this year in Illinois. I always traditionally go down, and everyone wants to be in the woods that first, second week of November. And rightfully so. It's sweet November, a great time to be out there, but I wanted to change it up a little bit. So I decided this year I'm going to go ahead and spend the entire gun season home with my family in Indiana, which worked out great. And I was going to
Awesome.
go after Thanksgiving to Illinois and hunt a week of archery because you get 2 tags down there, and then hunt the second gun season. So I literally head down there by myself, self-filming during the archery season. So I head down on Friday after Thanksgiving. So that Black Friday, which I want to be in the woods anyway. I don't want to be in the stores. So we go ahead and we head down there.
I hear you.
And the first day was pretty good. And I noticed, and this might be for some areas, like I was seeing what you would see the end of October, beginning of November, that starting to look, seeking mature deer up on their feet. I was seeing that all over again that weekend after Thanksgiving. And if you think about it, that was my plan, which they never work out. So I can't believe this worked out. I don't harvest many deer down there. We don't have much ground to hunt. What we do have is ours. We own it, which is great. But you always hear about these stories that when that second rut comes in, and that's exactly what was happening. The majority of these does were bred from the first rut. So like going into a bar with a bunch of guys, if you go into a bar and you've got 100 women and you've got 300 men, it's going to get pretty rowdy. Well,
yeah.
with this,
Oh yeah.
you literally have, it's even getting rowdy. There's way less does now because the majority of them are bred. And I wasn't seeing as many deer, but hands down, I was seeing, we're talking 4 or 5-year-old bucks up on their feet. A lot of and what it is I think those more dominant bucks realize there's less does out there now. So they've got to be more visual. All my scrapes were reopening back up. And within the second evening I was there, I killed, in my mind, an absolute slammer of a whitetail with the bow, 20.5-inch inside spread. Unbelievable story that went with it. We're talking killed him on a little track. And I called the wife, about in tears, couldn't believe it happened. And, she's like, well, what are you going to do for a week, And so I actually talked to one of my middle daughters, Whitney, and I told her, I said, hey, you want me to come home? And I'll just come home early. It's only 6 hours away. I'll make a couple of them basketball games this week. And wife's like, no, stay down there. All my daughters are like, no, enjoy yourself. I know. Like, you can see where it's going here. My daughter Whitney's like, hey, you don't have to come home. I'm thinking about it. They're getting ready to either burn my stuff, kick me out of that. If you got all the women in your life telling you don't come home, you better go home. I literally loaded the truck.
You got that right.
All I was going to do is spend money, at the local restaurants, which is not fine, giving back to the community, but I had nothing to do for a week. That time of year, my cell cams are doing the work. I don't want to really get in the woods. So go back home, spend time with that family. It doesn't happen much because you're always putting the grind in.
Yeah, you got it.
You're away from the family. So to have those extra days, I go back. I come back for the second gun season. And 2 days into the second gun season, I killed one of the biggest deer of my life on the same piece of ground, a deer that me and my son probably have more history with than any other deer. We called him the driveway buck, and we completely misjudged him on camera with that. I mean, he went in the, in the 150s, which for some people, that's a pretty good deer. But for me, I mean, that's a giant. It's
Oh yeah, definitely.
I don't got 400 or 500 acres to hunt, and nevertheless, to kill both of these deer were well over 4 years old on such a small tract of ground. I mean, Illinois is. I mean, at that point, like I still, feel like that I don't even deserve it. You know what I'm saying? It's just like I just can't believe it happened. So.
Yeah, it was a great buck. I mean, the G2s, we were talking there before we started, man. You were talking about that one that was a little forked off, and
Yeah.
you had that other G2. It was like 8 inches long, man. It was just nice, typical 10.
He was beautiful. And when he walked out, a buddy of mine that I hunt in Kansas with, he's actually from Long Island, New York, too. He's got a big lease out in Kansas. He was on his way back from Kansas, and he was going to stop by my place in Indiana, like on a halfway point. And he's like, "Hey, listen, are you home?" I said, "No." I said, "I'm in Illinois." He's like, "Hey, why don't I just stop there? It's the same way." You know what I'm saying? The same.
Man, I tell you, like you said, I wish we had the video going along with it. Good Lord.
You guys there now?
Oh, man.
If the listeners could really know what's going into this podcast,
Yeah,
I'm trying to make it work.
We'll get it working, though. This will be one of the best episodes ever.
That's what happened when you got a bunch of country boys living out in the sticks. You got reception. We're going to have to piece stuff together here. But we're going to make it happen. But no, I was saying, so I had this great season down there. I killed 2 unbelievable deer in Illinois. My buddy from Kansas, who was originally from Long Island, New York, where I grew up, he's friends with my parents. He's a little bit older than me, but he was in Kansas. And he said when he came back through, because, he's a single guy, probably because he hunts a lot, but hey,
Yeah.
some of us are envious of him, but I wouldn't trade what I have for the world. But he goes out there in September, and I'm telling you, every year when he goes out there, he consistently kills one set. This year he just killed a 187.
Wow.
Last year he killed a 183. But he brought up a good point. You're in Kansas. He goes out there September 15th, and he usually don't come home until after the New Year. So he's passing up a lot. So, I mean, that's why he's so successful. But I told him, hey, I'm not in Indiana. Stop by Illinois. It's their halfway point on the way home back to New York. So he stopped by, and it was, my first hunt in Illinois was definitely pretty special. I had some buddies come in to help me track the deer, which, I was blessed enough where he didn't go far. Probably one of my best archery shots ever. But this one, just having him in the blind, that one person, and I wish people would understand that, and they do. Hunters and you guys, you understand that. You go out, you hunt by yourself, it's fine. You go out, like, I can't stand when people knock people for killing a small deer or just a doe. When you have, and Michael Waddell just said it on a podcast in the last couple months, it's not about the inches. If you and how he said it, and I hate to rephrase it, but he's so right about it. If you're just going out there and killing big deer, but you're not sharing it with nobody, you're not sharing the hunt, you're not sharing the experience, he said you're going to be sitting back with a big old cigar in a dusty trophy room and no one. I'd rather be sitting around with a group of guys talking about the memories, about the doe that happened, the buck, every deer that's on the wall, whether it's 60 inches or 200 inches, so to have him with me, it was like it was meant to be, to experience that. It was unbelievable.
Man, that's awesome. Hitting on sharing the memories and stuff, So I got to hunt up here in Illinois, and second season, seen 60 deer walked under my stand. These guys were like, "Oh, we're going to go out for lunch. You coming out of the woods?" I said, "I'm not moving from this stand." I said, "I've had way too much activity going on." Seen 3 buck out of those 60 deer. And I told them, I'm like, "Look, I think I'm just going to go ahead and poke a doe, because you guys need to kill some of them. You've got way too many." They're like, "Man, are you sure you're only going to get one day?" I'm like, I'm trying to help you guys. And end up killing the doe, but whatever. So we get back to deer camp that night, man. Here's one for you. You ever seen a buck that had no nuts?
Wow.
Yes. I mean, you're talking an actual buck. Like, he had everything else.
Yeah. Oh, no. He had everything else. He had the male parts and just no nuts at all. Didn't drop, wasn't inside of them, nothing.
Was Yeah, I have, but he happened also to still be in velvet later in the season.
Okay, no, he was this guy wasn't in velvet. He was out of velvet. He was probably a 2.5. He might have been 3.5 year old.
Man, that is
So it was crazy, and I'm like, man, probably the best thing you could have done was kill him. He's not going to produce nothing for you.
No.
He was a nice deer. By all means, he was a dandy. I wouldn't have passed him up. That's for sure.
No.
But yeah, I ain't never seen it. That's the first time I've ever seen one without nuts. I've seen does with antlers, but I've never seen that.
It's happened in Fred Eichler had one of his clients in camp this year. I seen a post that he did on it, and the deer they harvested, I believe it still had a little bit of velvet on it and stuff like that. And the deer did have nuts, but the problem with it was it almost castrated itself when it jumped the fence, and it injured itself. So naturally, its testosterone levels are not going to be as high. So it's
sure
out there. It's not producing testosterone. Most likely, it's not chasing does, not breeding, and it's also not being aggressive when it needs to be and start stripping that velvet off. It's just so you get these deer, and a lot of times you'll see that if you get people that harvest deer this late in the season and they're still in velvet, they're either going to have no nuts, they're either castrated themselves, or they're going to be a doe. It's that has antlers. It's it's like the beard.
That's crazy.
They happen.
Yeah, that makes sense. Yeah.
Wow.
That makes sense. So I guess Dave ain't getting on tonight, Michael. Where'd he go? I thought he was.
No, I don't think Dave's going to be on this evening.
Man, that's a shame.
He's not going to be with us. He's with family, doing some family things. So I told him,
yeah,
do the family thing, just like we was talking earlier. I mean, you don't when you're doing, you don't get much time to do that stuff. So. Yeah, we better go ahead and do the toast because we just got cut for the 4th time. So we want to come in and talk about this is our 25th episode. And Sean, we couldn't be more blessed and thankful to be able to spend this 25th episode with you on it, even though we've gotten cut off 5 times. This toast goes to On the Limb podcast and many more of them. And to Sean, too. Thank you, sir.
I'll be back on this show even after this episode, and we're going to keep coming back on until we get it running smoothly. So we're going to have a lot of toasts.
Yeah. We'll have to have you back for sure. I mean, we've not had, it has to be you, one of our biggest guests that we've had on the show, to where we have all these technical problems. We did a 3-month trial, and we tested everything out for 3 months before we aired our first one, like to where we would record it with a guest. And we thought we got everything, out of the works and the kinks and things like that. But, it's one of them things you have the technical issues, like we were talking there during the break and while you got cut out. You're just such a down-to-earth person, and, for you to be with Drury Outdoors and be around some of the people that you've been with, I mean, I think it's awesome that you've stuck to your roots, and, you're just down-to-earth and awesome guy.
I appreciate that. And, it almost gets like, I don't know, you almost get emotional on yourself about it sometimes. But, like, I remember when I first started with Drury's, and a lot of times, even when just in general, even if you take hunting out of the perspective, I feel like my wife, sometimes I'll be somewhere and a lot of my buddies at work, they'll sit there and they'll pick on me. And if we're at a, party or a gathering, and they'll say stuff, and all of a sudden I'll say something back and everyone starts laughing. And she's like, man, why do you let them pick on you? And it's not that I don't mind being the person to take the edge off.
Yeah.
I don't mind the person, because I guarantee if there's someone out there that's been through it, whether it's a family issue, a hunting problem, or struggling with not being able to kill this deer, trust me, I've been there, and if I could be, so when I was blessed enough to get put in, like, feeling that I'm just an everyday guy and nobody, and I still feel that that's who I am, and I get brought in with this group of people, and I told my wife, I said, oh my gosh, I've got, like, people are starting to notice me on social media, I've got like 1,500 followers now, and then all of a sudden I start, on the outdoor channel, like, start getting voted fan favorite. And, and I'm walking to shows, and, like, sponsors that big companies are sponsored by, to include Drury's, people associated with them are noticing me. It's, when I was about 2, 3 years ago, I told my wife, I said, I don't want to be like some of these people that I've seen. I remember going up to them when I felt like they were like us. So when I mean us, I mean you
Yeah.
two and me.
Yeah.
And yeah, I really mean this. And it's like all of a sudden out of nowhere, you're running them 2 years later and they blew up. They became something awesome, And I'm not saying names
Yeah.
or anything like that, but when that happened, all of a sudden they're not as talkative. Like they're not stopping at these trade shows and they're not taking a picture with the kid or they're not talking with the kid. And I told my wife, I said, that will never happen. Like,
Yeah.
I don't think they understand, like, us, we're fans. I don't consider myself somebody in the industry. I don't think I ever will.
Yep.
It's, you need to take time to talk to them. And like, and she enjoys it. She comes from the same, somewhat morals as me. We both love the country now. Like, I get to the point where the more and more people start to follow me and the more like I actually want to continue to promote. And I'm not trying to say the redneck or hillbilly way of hunting, but I want to continue to promote what we're doing now, which we need, and the numbers may be off, but if we've got 2 known hunters for every 5,000, what you call us no names, well, we need 10,000 of those, 15,000, because I want my grandkids to be sharing this same exact lifestyle that
Yeah.
we're sharing.
Definitely.
And if you don't continue to share it, or you get to the point where if you feel like someone like me, you can't kill big deer, but you can help promote that little child into the outdoors, you can share his picture on your page.
Yeah.
If I can make 3 hunters this year, and I've said that before, if everybody out there that hunts, whether you have a lot of property to hunt, whether you kill a lot of deer or you don't, if every year just one, you just take one person hunting, 90% of them may not ever do it again. But that 10%, and then those 10% do it, like, I mean, it's just what we need to do. We need to continue to promote this. We gotta take all this stuff away. I don't care if you hunt big ground, little ground. I don't care if you're mossy oak or real tree. I don't care if you use a shotgun or a bow. We need to continue to promote each other is what we need to do.
Oh, yeah, definitely. It's all about that, man, and it's about keeping the tradition alive. And like you said earlier, if we don't keep continuing to bring people new into this sport and this tradition, it's going to die. And we have to keep doing it. It's not like you're saying the bigger guys out there that they lose their humbleness and get the luster of the starstruck thing. They just they forget what it's all about, and it's just it's crazy, man.
That's why some of the guys I look up to the biggest to in this industry is Mark and Terry Drury. That they, in their mind, I mean, I know they got to know their success. I mean, they're legends, but they still take time to talk to every single person they come across. People like Chuck Adams, people like Fred Eichler. Those are guys that I have been around or have reached out on social or have talked to in person or have numbers or call them or text them, that they're still the everyday person,
So we was talking about tradition and, keeping that tradition alive. You was talking about taking the kids hunting and things like that. And it's, it's not all about the big bucks. It's about the memories. And we've heard that so many times throughout a lot of different things. And it keeps getting to be a bigger thing, which is good. I think we need to bring that back into hunting. It's gotten too far into who's killing the biggest bucks and where they're coming from. And, you were talking about some of the other guys in the industry where they've gotten so big and they get starstruck. And when that kid comes by at a trade show or something, they just kind of like, it's the fastest thing to get them out of the way. They should be wanting to keep that kid there the longest and teach them, kind of hand down the experiences that they've experienced and things like that,
Absolutely. And sometimes introducing someone new to hunting, just my own children or my wife or other people, and everybody has their own ways. And this isn't the right answer, but it's my answer. If I'm hunting a place where you're going to take somebody new to hunting, one, try to make it where the best day possible, comfortable, whatever, weather conditions, whatever. the best can
Definitely.
pressure where they're going to see deer. And two, if you don't want to take a kid, and I don't have many of these farms, but there's a few of friends of mine that will let me, they have mega leases, and I'm allowed to come on and film and promote it, whatever. But if I'm taking a kid, don't make it to a point where they have to have restrictions, because you got to remember, it's okay to have restrictions. It's okay to be competitive, and we all hunt our own different ways. And I don't knock anybody that has restrictions. I mean, there's times where I will pass up certain bucks, and restrictions.
Definitely
has to do with passing up deer, but
what's management?
Yeah, when you're bringing a new person in, you got to remember that word restriction. If you're giving them restricting, then you're restricting somebody from becoming a hunter. You gotta let that get out of the system. It's like taking a kid to a big old lake to bass fish, or take him to that farm where he can hammer the bluegill. Like let the old saying, and it's so true, because 80% of us still do it. If it's brown, it's down. If they're ready to take an animal, if they're ready to take a life, be there with them for that, because that's the memory. Everybody's gonna get better. They're gonna get competitive on, and maybe if their whole life it's just to kill a bigger doe, maybe it's not, but they're gonna want to do something better than next. So just be careful when you take them out, because you don't want to make someone's first experience horrible. So
yeah, definitely. And I'm not knocking any big shows or anything like that, but what I'm saying is you can't lose. You got to think where you started yourself. You got to think humbleness. And you can't lose that. I mean, if you lose that, you've lost everything you just accomplished.
100%. And it's fun, because me and my son, we're getting ready to head down. We're always doing a father-son thing, but it's, we always try to end the year, on a high note, and our season can't get any better. And it's crazy for the fact that we still have our Texas trip coming up. And it is one of those target-rich environments where we can go out there and just harvest what, call bucks that are on there, where a lot of people would not want to be. But it's about the hunt. He's going down, and it's not about inches. But here's a good thing about not having restrictions, but people being competitive on his own. Like, my son made his mind up. We're bringing the rifle, but he wants to try to harvest that first one in Texas this year with his bow. So that's his
awesome
his own little restriction that he put on himself. It's I want to try to get this, and he's killed a few deer with his bow already, but here comes the Texas hunt. We know it's going to be fun, and God willing, everything should be good, and he wants to do it with the bow. And when you're going on a hunt out of state, sometimes I've always said this: if I went to Saskatchewan to kill a whitetail, obviously I don't know if I'd ever go back. My dream would be to go on an Alaska moose hunt, a Saskatchewan hunt, but that may only be one time if you ever get a chance. Most of the time, you bring a rifle. Like, if it may only be your own, bring something, So here's my son putting his own restrictions on it. We're going out of state. I want to try to toughen the odds a little bit and get it done with the stick and string. So, but we're looking forward to it. It should be good, and we'll see what happens.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. I know the question has come up a lot of times, I mean, people will just ask me in general, people that don't hunt, there's a couple people I work with and things, they get into the debate and the questions. Why do you hunt? What have you learned from hunting? And I'm like, I've hunted since I was 9 years old. I've had a family that's hunted since I was born. I grew up in it, and I've learned a lot of things at deer camp. And they're like, what have you learned at deer camp that helps you in life? And I'm like, I'm sitting there, and it kind of got me to think about it in depth a lot more. And I'm like, man, you learn patience. You learn that like I said earlier, you can't always have what you want. You may see that big 12 point out there, but that bad boy may not be walking through there the same time you're out there hunting. And he knows you're in there, it. And, I just, there's a lot of different things that you learn from the camaraderie between your family and your family friends and uncles and cousins and different things like that when you're standing around the campfire at deer camp, So what's some of the things that you've experienced through life at deer camp?
You know, it's good that you bring up that question, the things that you actually learn from deer camp and taking away. Yeah, we go to deer camp to harvest the deer. But, I guess that's a good question because when you think about it, there's so much more that you learn from being young. One, you know, the excuses on how to come up with excuses, or your dad would come up with excuses on how to get you out of school during that week. The usually it was the week before Thanksgiving, hunting in the Catskills. But everything with deer camp, like
Yep.
going there with family and friends, my uncle, my brothers, my dad, and you said it, learning patience, and it's the life lessons, and nobody will understand. Like when they ask you that question, like you were saying, what it is you love about deer hunting, what have you got out of deer hunting? It truly is life lessons, and it's no matter what. I don't care if you're anti-hunting, whatever you're into, whatever music you listen to, there's something they're taking from that, and what I take from hunting that I've learned.
Yeah,
I really
definitely.
think being an outdoorsman has shaped me for who I am. I've learned patience. I've learned, how to deal with being away from home. I've learned how to, even now I'm still learning that, I have other priorities, but this is my time to have fun and clear my mind, but to multitask too. I mean, if people can say that you're not
Yeah.
learning life lessons from hunting, or it's not just learning to play the wind. It's not learning to play, but just to go out there and learn to deal with different people, to learn to socialize, to learn to how to have a good time, how to relax,
Yeah.
how to enjoy someone else's moment. Because the best part about deer camp is the stories, and many deer hunters, and I've seen it before, and
Yep.
they've got memes of the guy sitting on the bench by himself. They say when you go to the family barbecue and no one else there hunts, and you're kind of sit there by yourself. When you're in deer camp, it's not like that, because when someone tells a story, and I know you're the same way, you can visualize their hunt. They're telling a story from 25 years ago, and I am
Yeah.
visualing that deer walking on the leaves. I'm visualing, maybe not the way he's saying it, but he's saying he was up in a big old oak. I'm imagining that big old oak. So you're, it's not just going to deer camp and what's my memory going to be that day. I might go to deer camp. I might go to deer camp with you guys a couple of years from now, and I am going to be part of your hunts from 20 years ago, because I heard the stories, and it's
Yeah.
you there's so much more to it. And that's why I was going back with my buddy Carl. There's such a blessing that he stopped in when I harvested my second deer in Illinois this year, because we talked about hunts. We talked about our hunt last year in Kansas, and we, if I was there by myself, you're just coming back out of deer camp. Not that you're not talking to other deer hunters when you get home, but they didn't experience that deer camp, that deer story, the funny thing that happened when so and so missed 3 times or did this, and it's crazy too. How many times have you sat in deer camp and someone brings up one of the best memories that the rest of the year wasn't a memory, but you got back to deer camp and it rekindled it, and it
Yeah.
talked about something that happened 10 years ago that we all forgot about. It's it
Oh
to
yeah.
say, and not to push forward, but this goes back to the whole rugged apparel thing that we're trying to start off. You know, Hunting, outdoorsmen, your life, it is a lifestyle. And I don't understand
It is.
people anti-hunting. I don't understand vegetarians. I don't hate them. I'm not going to disrespect them. I don't understand it. I don't understand eating grass.
Yeah.
I love meat,
I love
and I
meat.
don't expect them to understand why it is I do what I do. All I say is just respect it. I'm not going to bash it, and that's why I love the hunting industry. That's why I love going to the trade shows and stuff, because when you go to these trade shows or you get on these podcasts, it's like being in deer camp. I mean, you're sharing deer camp all over again, even when it's not deer season.
Oh yeah, definitely. I mean, I go back to like the journey, deer camp, fellowship, communal, man is by nature a social animal. And, you know, we love to gather together and do things together. And it's just one of those things that brings us back to our grassroots, man. And I love it. I am so blessed that I have been able to grow up in it and have those experiences through life.
You know, I'm not trying to go out there and be like Joe Rogan or something like that and have people want to live. But I don't care if I lose followers by saying this, but I am a Christian person. I have faith. I'm not the best Christian. I make mistakes, you know, but when you talk, talk about men and like this world, and you're hearing it more, is trying to take the masculinity out of men like no before. When we just talked about that military not having room and cutting back on that, we're talking, here's both me and you, the viewers can't see it now, looking at each other through the screen. Why do we have hair growing on our face? That's the way God created us. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. Why do we have canines in our teeth? We're mammals. You take all the mammals in the world and you take the predators, the ones that eat meat, they have canines. They weren't meant for lettuce.
Yep.
It wasn't. They're meant to tear flesh. Now, I'm not saying we evolve a little bit. I'm not saying be barbaric.
Yeah.
Not only because it'd just be a little weird, but your wife would kill you. But we're still man, you know, and it's our job to be there for our children. It's our job to show our sons and our daughters it's okay to cry sometimes. It's okay to be upset. But as a man, you have to step up. You have to do this. You have to. But we can't be afraid to say, hey, it's okay to go out there and kill an animal to eat. I mean, it's what it was created for. I mean, you go back in biblical times and stuff like that. And it's right now people are trying to destroy hunting. They're trying to destroy the military. They're trying to destroy what man does. And it's, you know, they say we're all created equal. Yes, we are. But if you want to really dig deep into the Bible, and I may lose views here, but like we're created equal as we need to respect each other. We're equal. But I, by no means, am equal to my wife. There's things that she can't do what I can do. And I'm here to tell you, I could never, I honestly said this, no way in the world would I want to sign up as a mother or a wife. I may lose my man card, but man, what they do. I mean, do you really want to get up? And when I go down there and I know I'm going to do it wrong, and I know she's going to get mad at me, but when I do the dishes, I don't do them right. When I try to do the laundry, I don't do it right. But it's like, I can't believe that she gets up every day and tries to do laundry for us and do this. Like, no, I am not created like her. But she also would stand behind me if she got nervous and something was happening. And so, because she's not created like me, you know, and we're trying to make it where, you know, this world where we all need to be a milkshake. Okay, well, if you're Bob and you want to be somebody, I don't care if you want to be a bullfrog, but you're still how you were created. You know, it's just, I don't like the fact that we're trying to get back from, you know, this world is mean anyway, but the biggest thing that God gave us is a heart. He gave us a soul. He gave us, and you go back to the military, the reason why they have war, in my mind, is because when one side is hurt bad enough, emotionally, physically, mentally, and you have lost human life, that's to the point where it's horrible. Even for our enemy, whatever, it is horrible to lose that. But now we're getting to the point where we all just want to become one. You know, that's why we have to put boots on the ground sometimes, because you have to, it's so important. So to take hunting, which is who we are, we were raised to hunt and be gatherers and food. To take that away, it'd be catastrophic, man. And I never want to away from my son, my daughters, my granddaughters, my grandson. So I'll back that to the end. People will disagree.
Yeah, that's me. That's me, man. I mean, I've had my son in the woods since he was 4 years old. You know, when I first found out that we were having a boy, I was so excited for that first day that I was going to have him in the woods with me. Yeah, we just got cut off again there, but we're going to go ahead and finish this up so we don't get cut off again, I think. I don't know what's going on, but yeah, I mean, I've had my son in the woods since he was 4 years old, and I wanted him to grow up in that lifestyle and that hunting aspect of things like I did, and I'm just blessed to be able to do it. So, Sean, it was great having you on this evening. I'm going to go ahead and we're going to go ahead and end it for this evening. We'll definitely have you back on after the first of the year. See how things are going with Lundy Life and RUGG'D Apparel and things like that. Some of the new things that you've got going on in your life, and
Absolutely,
you know, you've been successful so far, and I just wish the best for you going forward. And we'll stand behind you and your businesses as it goes that way. And you know, we want to be on the journey with you, so we appreciate you, bro.
I appreciate that. Now, you guys doing any trade shows this year?
Yeah, we got a trade show coming up in January. Starts off for us. That'll start the trade show season for us. We start off here in Charleston, and then we stay pretty much within the tri-state area, and then we'll go to Morgantown, West Virginia, up near Hagerstown, Maryland, and then we'll come back down to Summersville. So I may be able to put you into contact with some of the people there at the Morgantown show, because they like to have people come in and talk.
Okay.
And do different things. So that may be something that you might want to look into if you could.
Absolutely. If you ever get a chance, head up to that NWTF, especially being in the turkey calling business and stuff. It's we enjoy that every year. Me and my wife. It's a little bit of time away from the kids, and we really enjoy it. I like walking around, talking to everybody. It's a good time. So
yeah, that's always around Valentine's Day there, and you know, like I was telling you there before we came in and started recording, we had some guys that called in the NWTF contest, the National Calling Contest, several years ago. And just to give you a little history about our business, we haven't got to talk about this, but me and my brother started our business back in 2010, and he passed away in 2012. So we were just in the infancy stages of building our business. And since he's passed away, the family has rallied together, and you know, it's a family business, and you know, that's the way I want to keep it, and that's the way it's been ever since. And I'm just if he was to see the things that it's done today and how we've branched out, he would be ecstatic. You know, we founded the business on turkey mouth calls. He made them strictly by hand, didn't have a mouth call press or nothing, and I make them today with a mouth call press because I tried strictly by hand and I can't do it. But it's a talent and it's a trade that, you know, it's definitely got to be a niche for you. So, but we've enjoyed it, man, and we've met a lot of good people along the way, and we are very thankful that we've crossed paths with you.
Absolutely, sounds good, and I'm looking forward to getting back on with you guys soon. So.
Yep, we appreciate you, sir. So we're going to go ahead and end it this evening, guys. Thanks for everybody listening. Be sure to check us out on Nature's Voice Game Calls page there, and On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls. Be sure to go and check out Lundy Life on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok. He's on all the social media outlets. RUGG'D Apparel as well. They've got some great hats, hoodies. They've got all kinds of stuff. You'll just have to get on their website and check them out, and be sure to check them out and give them a like and stuff. But thank you all for listening this evening, and be sure to give us a like, share, and listen on Spotify, Apple Podcast, Amazon Music, Google Podcast, wherever you get your podcast, we're there. So thank you all for listening. Have a good evening. Thanks, Sean.
Absolutely. Sounds good, buddy.
This segment of On the Limb with Nature's Voice Game Calls is brought to you by AMG Network Hosting, LLC, a national independent agent for most major telecommunication service providers. If your business is in need of internet, phones, credit card processing, let AMG Hosting help you compare options. They work with over 100 national carriers, and they can help you choose the best option for your needs. Our independence means we are loyal to our customers, not a brand or a company. Call us today at 304-608-3653 or visit us at amgnhconsulting.com. amgnhconsulting.com. Phone number again is 304-608-3653. AMG Network Hosting, LLC.